Yo, gamer name here, and welcome to another short tutorial video. And today my boys are going to be taking a look at Lars' dynamic entry and silent entry stances and why you should be utilizing these two stances in neutral and as Oki. So Lars has been getting hella buffed from the time he was launched, and I mean specifically his two stances, DE and CE. These stances are so good right now. Like at launch they're just bare bones of what they are today. So we're taking a look at the most important moves out of these stances, specifically one, the low, which is forward 4-3. He was buffed, he was given this low out of stance, so he can do this out of dynamic entry now. So already you can see where this is going. Secondly, his silent entry 2 was buffed as well. It's now -12. If you guys don't know, this used to be launch punishable as well. So just imagine Lars is CE2 was launch punishable, and this is a stance that you couldn't transition manually before. Like, bro, why? Why? So anyway, CE got buffed as well. His CE2, it's -12 now and launches on counter hit. So having access to a -12 low which launches on counter hit, bro, you have to use this move. Thirdly, he was given a homing move from silent entry. Not the best move out there, but it's still a very decent move. And fourthly, he was given stance transition manually, like automatic stance transition from dynamic entry to silent entry. So forward 3, hold forward, will transition automatically to silent entry. Dynamic entry, hold forward or tap forward to CE. So now, why am I bringing all these moves up? Well, these buffs have hugely improved Lars' Oki and neutral game. More so Oki than the neutral game. Like Lars' Oki right now is insane. It's really insane. Alright, so for starters, let's first take a look at the Okizeme part of things. So settings, who make the CPU not press any buttons on the ground, because I want to talk about dynamic entry 2. So we all know this move. This move hits grounded. It hits grounded, one of the best Oki tools in the game, right? So your opponent is going to be hella frustrated if they keep lying on the ground. So this makes Lars' Oki game, again, like I said, one of the best in the game. So now this opens up the possibilities of insane Oki options. Lars for Oki is really insane. So firstly, let's take a look at Oki after forward 1+2. So this is basically just your Oki options after a normal knockdown. It can be after like a juggle, right? Let's say an easy juggle like this, into Oki. Like even at this range, Lars still has Oki. That's what makes the DE into CE mix-ups really strong. The stance transition really strong. So out of it, like a normal knockdown, you have a ton of options out of this. Firstly, which is a basic option, right? Dynamic entry into 2. Like I said, it hits grounded. So this eliminates your opponent's option to stay on the ground. If they stay on the ground, they get hit by this. If they get up, this thing tracks both sides from the ground. So that's take row left, take row right. It will also track at the right side. So this is basically a safe Oki option you have from this. Now, if your opponent has realized that, okay, this thing is like super good, right? Playing on the ground is not an option. Now this is where you bring up Lars' other options. Options I showed you guys. Firstly, his heel sweep, right? So this is another Oki too. Bing, bang, that's tracking right and tracks left side as well. So you see, like just this from starters is strong, really strong. You can mix it up as well if you do not want to go, if you don't want to risk it, because this is launch punishable. This gets blocked, bro, you're eating a ton of damage. So if you want to go for the less, risky option, that's why you have your low transition or your stance transition from dynamic entry to CE, and go for the sorry, what am I doing? You go for the silent entry 2. So as you can see, guys, that stance transition, or that option could not have been possible if Lars did not get the CE or the DE to CE stance transition. So this makes his Oki game really good. right? It's so good as it really messes up your opponent's timing, because if they see you doing this a lot, they'll be like, all right, let me try and block that hell sweep. So boom, mix them up, mess up their timing and go low. So this is basically what I really meant by the Oki options this character has. So you can have dynamic entry 2, you can go for the mid, put them in 0 frame. This is 0 on block. If you want, you can go for the 2 or for the 1 directly, right? You can cancel and do all this like fancy stuff down to, like his Oki options are really insane. Now this, I'm just using forward 1 plus 2 as an example, because all this works even just from like a normal juggle. Let's say you get a juggle right out of Arc Blast. So Arc Blast, your high damage Lars combo into Okizeme options 50-50, right? 50-50. They stay on the ground, dynamic entry 2 will clip them, they get up, you put them in a 50-50 with the mids and the low. Go risky with the low -14 or go low. That's basically how this Okizeme option works. Okay. Spike into your Okizeme options, the same options I explained before. So as you can see, his Oki is insane. Even 3, right? Go for the mix-ups. Like his Oki options is insane. Now all this, guys, is assuming your opponent does not press buttons after they hit the ground. So low kick here. Like after a knockdown, like let's say, all right, let's say, oh my god, I dropped it. It's the basic combo. Wait, didn't press buttons? Oh, I didn't need to disable this first. My bad, guys. My bad. So you see, this is assuming your opponent does not press buttons. Now this is this usually happens after your combo ender with either 1 or 3+4. Usually, if you use those Oki options as your ender, then transition from D to C as Oki will be interrupted. So to avoid this, a lot of Lars players use the spike instead. So switch this off. The spike, which is silent entry down forward 1, right? So if I do this, oh my god, the spike, I missed it. Okay, let's just end it here. Spike. And if I do dynamic entry 2, that's what happens. That's what happens, because the first down on the floor, the get up options change, right? The get up 4 is slower if their face is on the ground. So it's basically a frame trap or a setup for the dynamic entry 2 on counter hit. So you have counters to their counters, guys. That's just how insane Lars' Oki is. Now I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how the Oki works with this character. If you didn't know, I hope this was helpful, because you have to use these options. Like I said, Lars is a very, very risky character. So having access to a law that's not launch punishable, you have to use that to your advantage. Like use it every chance you get. But of course, putting in the fact that you also have mids to use as a mix-up. So that's basically Lars' Oki, what I really wanted to break down. And now for the neutral part of things, I won't really explain much on this, but due to the fact that you can now cancel from dynamic entry to silent entry by simply tapping forward, this expands Lars' neutral options. So what I mean by this is you can basically just do this, bro. Like just throw that out. If you're like, range 2, this range is good for Lars. Like this is a very, very good range for Lars, because you can easily transition from dynamic entry to CE, right? Mix them up with the mids, So that's basically what I really wanted to talk about, as using CE and DE in neutral. Now keep in mind, this is not it's not really that practical, because they can be stepped. For example, that's the mid. It's a bit slow, so you can see it can be stepped. So keep that in mind. And this is why I brought up the issue of, or rather the buff of the new tracking move, which launches a counter hit as well, because you can use this as a check, right? just to check their step. Now keep in mind guys, against a very good opponent, like a pro player, like someone who's really good, they will be able to counter this as well, because this move is not that fast. It comes out really slow, so opponent can easily sidestep duck to beat all your stance transition options. If I do this, okay, so show you guys, so you can see I can do something like this. I'll end up sidestepping the mid, all the mids. If they throw out a low, that player throws out a low, I'll be able to block it as well. So again guys, you have to make, all this is practical, but you have to make reads on your opponent. Are they stepping? Are they interrupting me? You know, question your actions of the opponent. Just make sure your reads are good. That's what Tekken is all about. At the end of the day, mix-ups are mix-ups, right? It doesn't matter who you are. So that's basically what I really want to talk about, guys. You must use your stance transitions as well. You know, mix up your timings. Sometimes just throw out like DE1, you know, CE, the fake Lars wave dash. Just mess up their timings. Then make it to dash cancel into tracking moves. Just mess up their timings. If they start respecting you, you start going for the manual cancel from CE, from DE to CE, having access to that low again, that not launch punishable law, you have to use that to your advantage. So now this is just a little basic guide I wanted to talk about. If there are any beginner Lars mains or intermediate Lars mains, guys, believe me, this is very useful information. Put it into use. Just try it out. Go into ranked, try it out and see how you do. I have faced a lot of top players, guys, top African players, and it works. Like, trust me, it works. I can share some videos of Nobi as well using Lars, and he does most of the stuff I've talked about in this video. So anyway guys, that's my video. If you've enjoyed my video, do consider subscribing. I'm basically 100 subs away from 1000 subscribers, so if you've made it this far, please consider supporting your boy and hitting that fat subscribe button. Leave a like, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And yeah, GG my boys, play some Lars.